All right, what we got here, we got Sandblaster Steve, and what he's doing is a minor repair on his buddy's truck. Now, normally Steve would do all his own work at his house, but this big 4x4 one-ton truck, is this a one-ton? Yes, it is, look at that. One-ton single axle truck. Doesn't fit in his garage. Now, is this a limited edition truck, buddy? It looks like it is. Come on over here. Let me show you this. I mean, this might be one of a kind that we see here, guy. Come on over here and look. So it's a Z71, but it's a limited edition. Do you see what's going on here, buddy? FJB edition.
Yeah, I don't know what that stands for.
Are you bullshitting me?
Do you? I don't know what.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Okay, fuck Joe Biden. Okay, that's a fuck Joe Biden edition.
Okay.
So our buddy Eddie has the only one in existence of this additional truck right here. Wow. You should be a privileged guy, you honored guy,
yeah,
that you're working on the only edition truck of that nature and kind, guy.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe you must not watch the news.
I don't.
Okay, that's a good thing. Neither do I. But I know what FJB means. Okay. All right, so what we're doing here today is we are going to teach Steve how to blend paint. Steve's never blended paint before. And the minor wreck that he's got on this thing is very minimal, and I'm going to teach him how to blend the paint. Now we're going to get really lucky on to blend this, because look, this is over halfway, Steve. Okay, so we're going to get really lucky to blend this without burning, without messing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to blend that. Now we got some bumper damage here, and then you said you had this thing. Okay, so we need to hang that up right up here somewhere. Okay, so we're going to let Steve take this off and get it ready for paint, and then we're going to come back and blend it in. All right, so what we got here, we got the vehicle taped off. It looks nice. Steve did a good job. Now the way that we take this off, we use plastic. The only place that we put paper is down here on the fender well, and I think over here in the front. We used a little tape. Now, we're going to blend this, okay? We are not going to paint the whole fender. So let me have your 2-inch tape. So what we got is, there was body damage here. Steve primed it halfway. Now we're getting into the area where if this was not white, it would have to be blended into the door. If this was another color besides this white or black, it's past the halfway mark. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you go past the halfway mark, it's gonna, because when we blend it, the paint's gonna come all the way over to here, dude. So we're getting really close to this edge where there's gonna be a little bit of splatter overspray. But I think we can go ahead and do that and get it right. Now another spot that we need to blend it is right down here on the bumper. If you notice, Steve had to fix some, what was there, a dent here or something, or what? What's going on?
No, there's paint marks.
Okay, so it was scratched and gouged. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to blend the paint into right here. When we paint it, we're just going to go like that. We're not going to go around. Do you see what I'm saying here? We're going to go straight out, just like that. And then we're going to let the overspray just blend. Now, if you notice, I taped it off way back here. This is where our blend mark's going to end. We're going to clear coat it into this area here. And we're going to blend that clear in, okay? And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do at the end there so it all melts together. All right, since we're going to blend this, the owner requested that Steve remove these emblems. I told him if you remove that emblem, that factory emblem, it's going to break that emblem. That emblem's about $175 not to do that. He's also got the FJB edition on here. And we could remove that one with ease, but the problem is we'd have to get some double-sided tape. We'd have to put the double-sided tape. We're going to leave that on, and this is what we're going to do since we're going to be blending the paint. Let me show you how we're going to do this. If this whole fender was going to be painted, then I would request the owner to remove this since it's a brand new truck. If this was a truck that was 10 or 12 years old, then I would just tape it off here, paint it, and pull it off. The reason I would tell him to replace this is because if you tape it off like this, it's going to leave a paint line everywhere there's an opening. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we are going to, give me the Scotch-Brite. Before I tape this off, I'm going to take my Scotch-Brite. You see what I'm doing here, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, because we are actually going to clear coat this, dude. This is going to be clear coated, okay? So I'm just scuffing that down, the reason, and it's going to be high gloss shiny, don't worry. All right, all we're doing is we are making sure that the paint or the clear will stick to the emblem. And then the next thing we're going to do, because like I said, we're blending this, all we want to do, watch what I do here, Steve, because you have that thing taped up really heavy duty, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we just want to grab this edge right here like that. Watch how I do this. And then we're going to bring this around here. Now, this is the side that we really got to watch because we don't want no white paint. So we're going to go like this. And it doesn't matter if we're on the tape or not on the paint. Okay, up here. As long as this, because we're going to be painting this way. Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then all we're going to do is we're just going to go like this. Now watch what I do here. You can hold that, please. So I'm going to come up here just like that. I'm going to come around. Now did you see how I did both those emblems at once?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in just like that, and then I'm going to fold that down, see? Okay, you see that?
Yep.
Now what that did is what?
Blocked it.
It protected it, okay? Protected it so we don't get no overspray on our emblem. And then what's going to happen is after we blend our paint, after we get all the paint blended in, we will pull this off and then clear coat everything. Now that Steve's got the primed area prepped up, is this all prepped ready for paint?
Yep.
Okay, we need to prep all the areas that are going to get clear coat. Now, there's two ways you can do this. If it's a small area like that, all we're going to use is a Scotch-Brite and a little bit of water. If we were going to go any more detailed, where we were going to do the door, let's just say, or possibly part of the quarter panel upper section, then what you would do, you would use something like this. Now, this is a scuff and stuff. This is a surface prep, and it's a soap. It's got a little bit of sandy grit in it. And what you do is you use a gray Scotch-Brite with it. You put a little bit of this on there. I'm going to go ahead and show you how that works. I don't think you've ever seen any of this. Am I correct?
Correct.
So this is a brand that I normally don't use. I like the 3M brand. But the people that sold this to me said, well, you can get this for half price. And it does the same thing. And then this economy, anything that's half price, we're going to take. So what you do here is we're going to go ahead and get our Scotch-Brite just a little bit wet. Do you see that, Steve?
Yep.
We're not using a lot of water, guy. Okay? And then we're going to take that and look what's going on here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a little bit of our scuff and stuff, if you can hold that. And then what you do is you just basically come over here and you can see that it gets a little bit soapy. Do you see that, Steve?
Yeah.
And you want to go ahead and scuff that down using minimal water. Now the reason I'm saying to use minimal water is because we don't want water going in all our grooves, okay?
Yeah.
And you can see by using just a little bit of that, look how far it's gone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know how the soap thing is. Now look at that surface. Can you see how it dulled it down? See how it's nice and dull, but we got a little bit of shine over here, so let's go ahead and hit that just a little bit more. There we go. And then if you can finish that out, we don't need any more soap. That stuff goes a long way. All we need is a little bit of water. And then go ahead and scuff the rest of that fender down for me, Steve. Put some pressure to it. Gotta have pressure on it. And then what we're doing here, we are prepping the surface for the clear coat because we are doing a blend job. Now, normally on a section like this, I would not use the soap at all. I would just use the Scotch-Brite and water and be done with it. Make sure you get the slip right here real good. All right, so the scuff and stuff really works good. Now, while Steve's finishing that, This is why we don't want to use a lot of water. You can see that I am taking this off very quickly with a white ball. See how that works? And just to let you know that this stuff really works, you can see right here, here's our primer. So we went over that, and yeah, there you go. Okay, as soon as Steve finishes up that, then we'll go to the bumper and we will repeat our process. All right, we got our exhaust system put in the paint booth. We got a situation here that Steve didn't realize. Come on over here. Do you see what I'm looking at right here, guy?
Yeah.
What is that?
Bondo.
Here's another right on the edge. Now what happens, if we blend that paint, what happens is that area right there is going to react with the reducer. It's going to blister up in the future. It's going to look like shit. I don't think your buddy's going to like that. No. Okay? No. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up a little bit of epoxy primer, and we're just going to spot prime these areas right here. That's it. Okay? So let's get in the shop. Let's go mix epoxy primer up, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So what we got here, we got some high quality sealer. This is PPG, and it works very, very well. And what it is called is epoxy primer. That does not mean it's primer. It's a sealer. Now what we're going to do, we're only going to mix enough up, and if Steve can watch this, that's all we need. Did you see that? That's it. Okay? And then we're going to take our hardener, and we're going to go ahead and pour a little bit of hardener in there. Very important to do that. And then one more thing that I'm going to put in here, because I noticed out in this area of the country, we have a big problem with fisheye for some reason. So I'm going to take a little bit of fisheye. This is fisheye reducer. Have you ever used that? Fisheye eliminator. Okay, well we're going to use mine right now. Okay. And I'm just going to put just a drop in there because we're not mixing a lot and we don't want to waste that because that's $100 fucking now. Yeah, no shit. So we're going to have Steve come over here and mix that up really good. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to apply that. Okay, what's up, buddy?
So after you mix it,
mix what?
The primer or
epoxy primer?
Primer, paint, whatever. Should you let it sit 5-10 minutes before spraying?
Okay, some epoxy primer you have to let sit for 30 minutes to activate. Oh. The only primer that I've came across like that, and we're talking sealer, not primer, is PPG DP epoxy primer. Best thing to do on something like that is read the manufacturer labels to find out. I think we're done, Steve. Get out of the way before you start that stuff on fire. You're over there stirring that stuff like it's a witch's brew. Okay, so the way that we're going to apply that, we're not using our big spray gun. We're going to be using this spray gun here. Do you know what this is?
Yeah, touch-up gun.
This is a touch-up gun. This is a SATA gun. I bought this one. SATA first came out with them about 35 years ago. This thing's 35 or 40 years old, and it works like mint factory condition. So we're going to go ahead and take our epoxy primer, and normally we would go ahead and strain this with a strainer, but since we're going to be using just very minimal, okay, do you see what we got here?
Yep.
That's all we're going to need. So what we're going to do here, and the reason we're using the touch-up gun is because we're only going to spot prime the areas need be. We don't want overspray on everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to test it out here. See that? We're going to come up here, and we're just going to get, and I don't even know if they can see this, or you can see it. And that's all we're going to do, buddy. We're just going to get that edge right there. We're going to get this right. Look at that bare metal. You see what I'm doing? Okay? Because we want to keep it contained. That's the main thing. I see a spot right down here. Let's go ahead and get that while we got it. And now I'm just going to look one more time. I see it's got a little edge right here. I really don't want to go up there, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. And the reason I'm doing this is a sharp edge right here. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And with that sharp edge, when you go to color sand and buff it, it might burn through. We don't want that. And that's it. Look, one quick coat and we're done. Right here, one more time. And that's it, bud. Okay, what we got here, we got the white paint, but this is a little thick, okay? I don't like the way it's running off the stick. It's too thick, and the reason I say that is because if we look right here, all right, when Steve bought this paint, he actually got it as a paint-ready mix. That means that the store where he bought it from actually put the reducer in it. Now, another reason I don't like to get the paint-ready mix is because we don't know what the temperature is going to be like when we spray it. So when they mix this paint up, it might have been 85 degrees out, and they used slow reducer. The problem we have is that it's only 45 degrees outside right now. So I never get paint-ready paint, because another reason is they're charging you for 2 quarts of paint, but they only sold you 1 quart. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I believe that this is almost a 50-50 mix on this. So that's a scam for the paint and body shop store to sell you 2 quarts of paint instead of 1 quart that you're actually getting. And that's the answer I got to that. So now our gun is ready to go ahead and blend. We're going to go ahead and go outside. We're going to start blending our paint. Now, another thing about blending is that the coats of paint that you put on are not going to be super thick. They're going to be thin. You're going to build up to the paint, the finished product. So let's go ahead and get out there. Let's start blending our paint. All right, our epoxy primer is dry. We got our paint mixed up. We're going to go ahead and set our gun. And I don't want a lot of paint coming out of my gun. I don't want a lot of paint, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume in just a little bit, because all we want is enough paint that's going to blend us in. Does that make sense, Steve? Yeah. We don't want it going on real thick where it oversprays all over in the air, because then what happens? It's going to get all over everything. So we want to turn the volume down, and another thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and turn our pattern down. So I screwed it all the way in. I'm going to come out about 4 turns, four clicks, and let's see what that pattern is. You see that? It's about this wide. All right? We don't want a big pattern, because what's going to happen? It's going to cover this whole fender. We don't want that. Okay, so we want a small pattern, about right there. And now what we're going to do, we're only going to concentrate on painting this area, and we're going to blend our paint in. See how I have my gun facing down? I don't want it facing up. I'm using my control. I'm using my handle as a control. Variable control. You see what I'm saying? Look how it's barely coming out, dude. Okay, we're going to let that dry. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to do the same thing. Now, we haven't really started our blend yet. All we've done is covered our primer area, okay? You see what I'm saying? Now we're going to go ahead and get the bumper. And I got to get my spray mask, dude. Now on your second and third blend, you want to go a little bit farther past the first blend that you put on there after your, what can we call that, cover coat. The first coat is a cover coat. The second one we're going to blend about that far past. And then the third coat, we're gonna go about that far past, and we should be done with it if you are using good high quality paint. Now that we got our blend done, we're going to take a flashlight and we're going to see what we got as far as depth goes and color match. Alright, we have now come to the point that we are going to go ahead and put the clear on our vehicle. So before we do that, I'm going to take a lint-free, tack-free rag. This is not a tack rag, this is a wipe ball. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to gently wipe it off, just like this. And all that's doing is getting that overspray that was built up in this area. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. If you remember correctly, I told you we were going to clear coat these emblems. We're going to pull the tape off of the emblems now. Just like this. And if Steve can come over here, you can see how nice that looks when we clear coat it. It's going to really, you see what I'm saying? So that'll really look nice when we clear coat that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the bumper. We're just going to wipe it back, just like that, just to get the dust off it. All right, we're going to go ahead and put 3 full wet coats of clear on it. The first coat that I put on is not going to be a full wet coat. It's going to be a semi-full wet coat, and it's going to be a tack coat type of situation. On the bumper, we're not going to clear coat the whole bumper. We're going to blend the clear into the bumper. Does that make sense? We're going to go past where our paint was. We're going to go to about right here. Okay, I'm going to repeat my process 2 more times on the fender and the bumper, and then once we're done, I'm going to show you how to finish it off. All right, hit the record button.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.